Welcome to our video lesson on rates. We're going to talk about unit rates and how to find them and how to use them. But before we do that, you need to know what a rate is. A rate is a ratio, which is what we talked about yesterday, with two quantities in different units. Some examples of some rates. 60 miles in 2 hours. So in this case, we have two quantities, 60 miles and 2 hours, and they have different units, miles and hours. Another example, 210 calories in 3 servings. So these are two different quantities, again with different units. Last one, 4 games and 8 goals. So as long as they have two different numbers with two different units, we consider it a rate. So for 1 to 5, we're going to look and see what units are being compared in the following rates. So the first one says 5 pears cost $2. So in this example, my first unit would be pears, and my second is dollars. For number 2, it says Sally is driving at 50 kilometers per hour. So in this case, my units are kilometers and hour. The last 3, try and see if you can do them on your own. Then pause the video now and do those 3, 4, and 5. Then on your own, write an example of a rate. Any rate, it doesn't matter what it is. Now that we've talked about rates, we're going to talk about unit rates. Unit rates, this word unit really means 1. So a unit rate is the rate for 1 unit of a given quantity. So that means it would have a number of 1 in it. Let's look at some examples. Here we have some rates. 60 miles in 2 hours. On the other side, we have their unit rates. So it's 30 miles in 1 hour. We have 210 calories in 3 servings, whereas the unit rate is 70 calories in 1 serving. Another rate, 4 games and 8 goals. The unit rate is 1 game and 2 goals. So as long as one of your quantities is number 1, then it is a unit rate. And unit rates are very important because it allows us to use them in different ways, which you'll see soon. Okay, here it says write down the quantity that makes each of the following a unit rate. The first one says 1 kilogram of rice per 8 cups of water. What we're looking for is the number 1. So here it's 1 kilogram that makes this a unit rate. So on your line, you'd write 1 kilogram. Okay, let's do the next one. Should be a G. Let's do the next one together. There are 5 students in a group. Now this one doesn't say 1, but we know that a group is really 1 group. So what makes this a unit rate is 1 group. That should be a G again. Do the next 3 on your own. And then when you're finished, write an example of your own unit rate. Again, it doesn't matter what your unit rate is as long as you've got a unit in it. Now we're going to talk about finding a unit rate. So to find a unit rate, we need to start with our original rate. Okay, to find the unit rate, we have to start by writing our rate. So let's read the problem. Find the unit rate for typing 145 words in 5 minutes. Okay, our rate will be words per minute. So our rate is going to be 145 words per 5 minutes. Okay, so this is a rate. It's not a unit rate yet. It's not a unit rate because neither of our quantities is 1. We need to make this equal to a different ratio where 1 is a quantity of 1. Okay, would it make more sense to say how many words someone can type in 1 minute, or how many minutes it takes for someone to type one word? If you think about that, hopefully it doesn't take someone a minute to type one word. So let's, we have to figure out which one to divide and make 1. Let's make minutes 1, because it makes more sense to try to figure out how many words someone can write in 1 minute than how many minutes it takes someone to write one word. Okay, now we have to think about what would you do to 5 to make it into 1. There's lots of different options you could do, but in rates, we're always going to think about division. What would you divide 5 by to make it 1? Hopefully you're thinking, I would divide it by 5. So if I'm dividing 5 by 5, I'll get 1. Well, this is very similar to equivalent fractions. And whatever we do to the denominator, we're going to do the same thing to our numerator. So we're going to divide 145 by 5 to figure out how many words this person can type in 1 minute. Let's do that math, the arithmetic, over here. So we're going to take 145 divided by 5. 5 goes into 14 twice, and 2 times 5 is 10. 14 minus 10 is 4, and we bring down that 5. How many times can 5 go into 45? It goes in 9 times, and 9 times 5 is 45. 45 minus 45 is 0. So that means that this person can type 29 words in 1 minute. And that has a lot more meaning to us in 1 minute than it does to 5 minutes. Okay, let's do another example. A plant grew 18 inches in 3 years. So again, first I'm going to write this as a rate. So it's 18 inches in 3 years. Now we have to figure out which one we're going to turn into 1. Are we going to turn inches into 1, or are we going to turn years into 1? Well, to do this, we think about what makes more sense. Do we want to know how many years it takes for the plant to grow 1 inch, or do we want to know how many inches the plant grows in 1 year? I think it's the second one. We want to know how many inches the plant grows in 1 year. All right, again, now we have to divide 3 by something to make it 1. What do we divide 3 by to make it 1? We divide 3 by 3 to make it 1. Whatever we do to the denominator, we do the same thing to our numerator. So we have 18 inches, and we're going to divide 18 by 3. Now we can do that in our heads. 18 divided by 3 will give us 6. So the plant can grow 6 inches in 1 year. You have 2 more examples, and I'm going to erase this part so you can see them, but you have 2 more examples that you should complete on your own. The 2 examples are there are 72 players on 9 teams, and they're on 560 pages in 8 notebooks. Then if you're up for a challenge or the super duper challenge, give them a try and see how it goes. When you're ready for the next part, click play to continue the video. Here we're going to talk about how to use unit rates. So we're given a unit rate, and we need to talk about how we're going to use it. Okay, let's look at our first one. There are 6 cans per box. How many cans are there in 11 boxes? Okay, we're going to start by writing our first rate, which is 6 cans per box. So that, when we see per like this, it means in 1. So that means we have 6 cans in 1 box. Okay, then the question says, how many cans are there in 11 boxes? Okay, last time when we were trying to convert it into a unit rate, we divide it. This time, when we're trying to make an equivalent ratio, we're going from 1 box to 11 boxes. I'm going to multiply. What do I multiply 1 by to make it 11? I multiply 1 times 11 and it will become 11. So that means I'm going to do the same thing to our numerator. 6 times 11. 6 times 11 gives me 66 cans. So that means it says how many cans are in 11 boxes. That means there are 66 cans in 11 boxes. Okay, let's do one more example together. It says you run 1 mile in 8 minutes. 1 mile in 8 minutes. How long would it take you to run 5 miles? Okay, again, we're going to set up our rates. So that's 1 mile in 8 minutes. And that has to be equal to 5 miles. Okay, it's the same thing we did above, but now we're doing it first with the numerator. What do we do to 1? What do we multiply it by to make it 5? We multiplied it by 5. So we're going to do the same thing to the denominator. 8 times 5, that gives us 40. So that means it takes this person 40 minutes to run 5 miles. Okay, there are 2 more examples on your handout for you to try, and then if you're up for it, try the challenge and the super duper challenge and see how they go. There are the last 2 questions and then the super duper challenge. Okay, that's all for now. I hope this video went well for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'm here to help you. I'll talk to you later.